All right, so I've changed the title of your slides a little bit. Okay, I went from sentences to sentences and punctuations. It's going to have chapter 6 and 7 in them. We're going to kind of bounce around between those two chapters. Okay, so as we slide down, you're going to see there's some new notes here: periods, commas, exclamation points, and question marks. So first, we're going to start with periods. So the most common form of punctuation, right? We use periods at the end of declarative and imperative sentences. We also use them with most abbreviations. Now, I say most because it's not all abbreviations. For example, you don't use them with metric measurements, meaning meters, right? Centimeters, kilometers, decimeters, regular meters. So you'll notice that centimeters is not C.M. or cm period, right? It's just cm and km for kilometers. But if you see inches, you will put IN period. That's the abbreviation for inches, and it has a period with it. You also do not use it for postal abbreviations for states, meaning like California, New Jersey, pretty much any of our 50 states. You don't put CA period or N.J. right? You do use it for USA, U.S.A, because that is a country. We're talking about states here. You do not put periods in state abbreviations. Okay, and if you look on the next slide, you're going to see that there are common abbreviations here. Okay, so look on this. So you'll see like a name, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, JF. You put periods there when you're using it with names, titles, addresses, like names of streets, okay? The time and units of measurement. Notice it does not say metric measurements. These are just units: inches, foot, yard, pint, okay? Ounce, stuff like that. Commas. Okay, these are our worst nightmare in punctuation because we never really know when we use it and when we don't. So hopefully these rules are going to help you, okay? The first time you use it is to separate words of groups or words or groups of words in a series of 3 or more. In a series of 3 or more. George Washington studied math, geography, astronomy, and surveying in school. That's 4 things. Math, comma, geography, comma, astronomy, comma, and surveying. Now this comma here after astronomy, okay, if you Google it, some websites and teachers in the future that you might have might say that this one is optional, okay? So you can say math, comma, geography, comma, astronomy, and surveying. So if you were to put this comma, you're not going to get points off. If you were not to put the comma, you're not going to get points off either, okay? Because that one's kind of a finicky rule. To set off parts of dates, addresses, and geographic names. Okay, so there's 2 examples because that kind of sounds confusing. Set off parts of dates. And what that means is that you put a comma after the numerical day. George Washington was born on February 22nd, comma, 1732. Let's add a period to the end of that. Okay. So here you see that the comma is used to separate the month and day by the year. Okay. And the second time, addresses or geographic names. So born in Westmoreland County, comma, because I'm separating the geographic, the county from the state, Virginia, comma, he made that state his home. So you'll see here, we're separating that geographic name in the comma. Okay. The next one, to set off elements of a sentence that are non-restrictive. So these are our appositives that we've talked about way past, okay? George Washington, comma, the first president of the United States, comma, was both a military and political leader. Man, where are my periods? Okay, so again, you'll see that this is a non-restrictive part of this sentence, meaning it's not necessary. We can get rid of it. Remember, non-restrictives go between commas. It's also used to separate the clauses of a compound sentence connected by coordinating conjunctions, and, but, or, nor, or yet, okay? Now, we haven't explicitly learned about compound sentences. That's actually coming in just a bit later. I think it's next week you guys start to look at compound sentences. So you'll see that. But a compound sentence is pretty much when you have 2 sentences put together. Okay. So George Washington led the U.S. Army during the Revolutionary War, comma, here's our conjunction, and he was later elected president. So what that means is that this comma really could be a period if you took out and, right? So George Washington led this U.S. Army during the Revolutionary War, comma, that's a sentence, and then it's continuing. So that's compound sentence. Or to set off a direct quote. Liberty, when it begins to take root, is a plant of rapid growth, comma, said Washington. We put the comma there because that's not the end of his quotation, right? If that's all he said, we would put the period, but it's not all he said. So we would put the comma there. Alrighty. So then you move on. This is continued. Okay, exclamation points, not too difficult. Exclamation points are at the end of exclamatory sentences to express strong emotion. So we know that the electricity went out, right? They might be excited or scared. That exclamation point kind of shows us. After interjections and exclamatory words to express happiness, disgust, pain, to express all these kind of feelings, right? An interjection is like one or two quick words that have a strong feeling expressed with it, right? So it might be like, wow, whoa, hey, watch out, quick, no, things like that, right? Something that you are just going to burst out. So you'll see here, I've color coordinated. No, I'm in the middle of drying my hair. Quick, change the fuse in the fuse box, right? So we'll see that it would be like you have to take a breath, right? You want to say, quick, change the fuse in the fuse box. Sounds weird. You would take a breath. Quick, change the fuse in the fuse box. So that's an interjection. It's just that beginning part. And then a question mark is just used at the end of a question. Nothing crazy. Okay, so let's look at our exercises. So periods, we have two. One that deals with abbreviations, one that deals with sentences. So the first one, add periods where needed. Not all items need a period. So for example, Jen Cullen Powell. This is an abbreviation for general. So I put the period, and I'm just going to color coordinate that for you so you can see what I'm talking about, okay? 5 kilometers by 2 meters. Now, these are metric units. I do not put periods. That one's fine. I'm moving on, all right? So then you guys are going to do 3 through 9 again. Copy and paste these into something you're going to submit. For this exercise, you're going to add a period where needed. Dr. Martin is our family's dentist. Well, I know that doctor is an abbreviation, so I'm going to add that in there. We change the color. And I notice that this is a sentence, and at the end of a sentence goes a period. So, voila, I've added my period, right? Okay. So again, make sure for like this one, you're paying attention to what you need to add a period to. So for here, we would probably add this period in, we would add this period in here after the E because it's short for East. Okay, E, Edgewater Boulevard, Norfolk, Connecticut. We do not add the period in Connecticut because it's a state abbreviation. However, this is the end of a sentence, so we add the period at the end of a sentence. Okay, so make sure you guys just, go back to the rules of when you add periods. Comma practice. Rewrite each sentence, add a comma where needed. Again, go back and look at those rules, especially for commas, because commas are tricky. John Adams, a founding father of the United States, was born in Braintree, Massachusetts. There is a non-restrictive in this sentence. John Adams, comma, a founding father of the United States, comma. Because a founding father of the United States isn't necessary. It's not necessary for the sentence here. So we add those commas because non-restrictives go between commas, right? So make sure you read through, go back to the rules up here. Okay, we're moving on. Exclamation point and question mark exercise. You're going to just add in exclamation points and question marks where they're needed. So, for example, wow, I can't imagine life without electric lights, let alone electrical appliances. This is an interjection, right? Wow, I can't imagine that. So I add that in there. Holy guacamole, that's crazy, right? Wow. Okay, wait. That's an interjection again. I'm saying, like, wait, right? How you guys do half the time when I'm teaching. Wait, Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb? That's crazy. Right? So here, right, interjection. Not everything is an interjection, guys. Notice number 3. Did these inventions include on-off switches? Did is not an interjection. You're not saying, did these inventions include on-off switches? That would be silly. Remember, interjections are like a big, a word that expresses like a really big feeling or emotion or like a sudden outburst, right? Wow, ouch, cool, stuff like that, all right? And those are all that. And then you're going to go ahead and do voyages, pages that go along with these. And I'm pretty sure that is page 109 to 111, okay? 109 to 111. So make sure you're coming back to these notes, especially these rules here, because that's going to help you. Okay, again, if you have questions, just reach out.